Okay, good day, everyone, and you're welcome to our live stream today. I think I have with me Mr. Josh.
Good evening,
Oh,
everyone.
good evening, sir. It's nice
Thank
meeting with you tonight.
pleasure. Same here.
Yes, sir.
What happened to the volume?
Okay, I can hear you very loud and clear.
Yeah, I hear you very faintly, but that's fine.
Okay, let me check what is
Mm.
happening. Okay, let me see what is happening to my mic.
Okay,
Okay,
I think it's okay now. I think it's from me.
okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so very much. Okay, good day,
Mm.
everyone. You're welcome to today's discussion. And today's podcast, we are actually looking at what is happening globally. And just like pre-informed us ahead already, what we are looking at is this controversial topic that is saying the world is going to get that the world is going to start getting pay for doing nothing, and which is contrary to the principle that governs the earth that we are all aware of. We all know that the world has always dignified labor, and there is always this momentum going around the fact that for everyone to have access to inflow to payment of whatever form it is, you need to get working. But based on current trend, we are beginning to see with the artificial intelligence upgrade and expansion in terms of exposure and use, the world is going another direction. And it becomes more important when someone like Elon Musk is coming up to really put out some statements with respect to the fact that the world is getting closer to the point whereby robotic AI is going to actually take the center stage, and all that men are going to be experiencing is what majority of the people in the world are going to necessarily be look at that word, necessarily be out of job, because whatever they think that they can bring to the table, AI will supply the same faster than they can ever imagine. So today, I have some guests that will be joining us live on this platform, and we're going to be looking at the pros and the cons, the positive is contribution of AI, and the other side that people are skeptical of in terms of job loss. And if you are joining us live today and you want to come into the studio, I'm going to be putting out a link that you can join us and make your contribution. And especially those that have had a kind of experience, I've met with some persons, they've had very positive, and some have gotten some negative experience with respect to the effect of AI on their means of livelihood. And today we're going to also be talking about how to mitigate it so that AI doesn't get you out of job. But in the long run, are we going to be able to sustain this? Are we going to be able to match up with what AI is doing? Are human beings really going to be getting jobs? Because there is plan along the line to make sure that larger percentage of the populations of the world are getting paid for doing nothing. Is it actually going to be nothing? So today I have on what's it called, on the platform with me, uh, Joshua and Josh. Please, can we have you on? Please introduce yourself, because I know that you are a lover of AI, and a lot of question is going to be thrown at you today, because a lot of panic mode has been activated, that people are like, is AI going to take my job? But I know that majority of the other side of the story is that, don't worry, AI is not taking your job. All you just need to do is relax. How much of relaxation is the world going into? So over to you, Josh. You can unmute and let's have your view on this. Are you there, Josh?
Yeah, yes, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
Okay,
Yeah.
we want to see what's your take on the effects of AI with respect to job loss.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, and it's my pleasure to have you on this podcast, and it's a privilege for me um, speaking to the topic of today. Yeah, I think it was around 2017 in Dubai when Elon Musk, um, you know, uh, made that statement that this government of nations, he said, government of nations should prepare for universal basic income as a result of effect of robotic and artificial intelligence in the future. That was 2017. And it was on stage with one of the tech founder. As at that time, it was a discussion. That was the beginning. Yeah. So until 2021, 2022, when that ChatGPT now came to the fore, that everybody is now getting to the awareness of everyone what Elon Musk was postulating as at that time. Now, as we can see, in the last probably 4 or 5 months, job lost job loss from the big tech like the Google of this world, the Alphabet of this world, the Amazon of this world is massive. As at last week, I think Google um, um, Google let over 8,000 of its employees. So it's been happening, and it's as a result of impact of artificial intelligence. Um, what was saying, by the time people are losing jobs, so what will now happen? So it was like, telling government of nations that, okay, it will be better to make arrangement to be, you know, giving people basic earnings for survival. The truth of the matter is that in some countries of the world where there is, we call it a waviarism state like Russia, even the United Kingdom, it's been in operations. It's been happening over the years where they give people that are probably less privileged or who are not having jobs, they give them homes. They call it council homes. They give them some basic money. There are places where you can go and take food. Yes, even in some United States is a capitalist state, but in some states it's happening, right? Even in Nigeria, when it's like during COVID-19, government will just decide because people were home, they just decide to give people money, right? So that's the form of what he's preaching. So what he's saying in the future, and we're almost entering the so-called future as at 2017. So it's happening technically. It's happening, right? But he was talking to states, government of nations, not individual like himself. So the impact of artificial intelligence is actually very, 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 very massive. Now, let me quickly digress a bit. When Elon Musk came out with Tesla, right, and he was producing massively, but as we speak now, there's this BYD from BYD, yes, from China, has taken over electric cars in China. Elon Musk now moved to creation of robotics, where they'll be using in industry, where even in care homes. Now, let me link it. When you say, okay, for you to prepare yourself the against the impact of AI, now, okay, let me go to area where AI will not affect me. Like they said, like construction, like care home, in some manufacturing settings, yours truly is a difficult one. Even the so-called robotic that I said, uh, robots with 80 to 90% in care homes. That is healthcare sector. So, like, I'm trying to lump up like 2, 3 points now. Number one, the impact of artificial intelligence on jobs. The second one is how can you insulate yourself against the impact of artificial intelligence? Yes. So when people are saying this is how to insulate myself against artificial intelligence, never say never, because the impact will be serious. I can assure you, it will be serious, and it is better now for government of nations to be preparing for universal basic income. And this universal basic income is not for everybody, not for me and you. Some of us that we are natural entrepreneurs. Now, for the first time in history, Elon Musk want to enter a $1 trillion valuations. That is his net worth. As we speak now, it's around 750 million. It's around 750 million, 770 billion. That is his valuation. And considering his IPO, now he want to go and colonize the Mars. And he's coming out with an IPO maybe in September. So the valuation will be entering about 1 trillion 115 billion. So what me I'm saying, invariably, the wealth of this world will be concentrated on the few, like the so-called entrepreneur we are talking, all these tech giants. So there will be massive inequality. You see, whereby 70-80% will not even have jobs. So they will depend on their government, and probably some of the likes of Elon Musk will need to work in hands with government. Okay, let me quickly come from this side. Recently, Trump went to China less than 2 weeks ago, and he went with about 18 tech billionaires. I think he went with 15 or there, about 18 or 20 of them. And the total net worth of these 18 guys was over $15 trillion. $15 trillion, which is about 85-90% of the GDP of the entire China as a country. So in the nearest future, 90-95% of the world, of the 90% of the world wealth, let me put it in that way, will be concentrated in the hands of few. And a whole lot will not have jobs. They will not have earnings. Not until when government of nations step in, there will be chaos.
Okay. Thank you so very much, Mr. Josh. But let me quickly add this. The fact that part of what Elon Musk was saying is that the wealth of the world is going to be placed in the hands of about 10%, meaning that about 90% of the people in the world population, are going to be needing the care, either from their government or whatever system they are trying to put in place. Isn't that traumatic? Or how do we look at that? That we are actually putting an end, is beginning to sound like a systematic putting of an end to people that are working and just making everybody become dependent. How do you look at that?
Yes, that's exactly what I've said. It's already happening. It's already happening. If you look at the GDP of United States, 70% of the GDP of United States is concentrated in the hands of very few, maybe about 22, 25. It's very scary, right? So it's already happening, and it's going to get worse. And I don't know what anybody could do about that. Okay. Even antitrust law, the one that was enacted in the days of what's the name of these guys in Texas in those days? Rockefeller is not going to solve it. Coming back to Africa, you can see, so though you see the worth of Dangote now is probably the GDP of is probably the okay. Now the entire GDP of Africa is less than $2 trillion. The total GDP of the entire Africa, and that is just the net worth of just three tech giants in the US. So what we are saying is already happening, and I don't know what anybody can do to that, other than this arrangement of universal basic income or basic credit, BCI, universal UBC or UBI, universal basic income or universal basic credit. It's already happening. Just like what we have in the other way, that's what we call black task in Africa, whereby you see only one person working, having good job, and the whole community is behind him. Is the one responsible for the finance of a whole lot of his community. So in the one way or the other is playing out in the future as a result of artificial intelligence. However, for people who are naturally enterprising, right? Who have the tendency of an entrepreneur, we take advantage of artificial intelligence and do much more. Like what we are seeing. We have just founded a deep talent platform. And as we speak now, we are moving towards 40%, 40 to 50% of the basic task we deploy artificial intelligence to run it. And it will get to a point whereby 90%. So what I'm saying is that for people who are naturally enterprising, who can, they will leverage on artificial intelligence to run their enterprise easier, so they will make more money. And if you look at those who will be employee, those who will be working, artificial intelligence will take over almost 80-90% of the will be doing the job. Only 10% or less will be for personnel. So the danger is still there. And what he's suggesting, government of nations should be getting ready. And for individual, you need to look at the side of pendulum where you belong. Are you naturally inclined to, I know everybody will not be an entrepreneur, right? But we have got to get prepared. We have got to get prepared. The plane is going to be bumpy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Okay, I think I have Jim Barak here with us. Hello, Jim.
Hello, how's everybody?
Well, bless God, we're doing great. And you?
Good, thank you. I have a quick question. Can UBI be something that can be socially cohesive and bring people together? Could they pool the money and utilize it in a better way? And then the second question would be is, with the youth already involved with AI and the fact that they've grown up with it in a sense much more in depth than we have, wouldn't you think that a lot of good could come out of AI too? Those are the two questions.
Okay.
For Josh.
Mr. Josh, you can unmute to answer the first part. I think the latter part of this question.
Yeah. Yes, I didn't know I was muted. Yeah, I'm happy to hear from what you have just said, and this is one of the ways. Yeah, this is one of the ways that we can that for us to cushion the impact or the effect of artificial intelligence. This is the smartest way, whereby people come together. You don't necessarily need to be an entrepreneur and put resources together and invest. Yes, in Africa now, something is happening that is going to be, for the first time in history, yeah, Dangote's refinery is being projected to be about $50 billion, right? $50 billion, and is coming out for IPO, initial public offer, is giving Africans opportunity to
Wow, we lost your sound there.
is now encouraging people to come and invest, right? So when you invest, they'll be paying you dividends, they'll be paying you, your shares will be rising, and you'll be collecting dividends. So, and it's going to be across Africa. It's not going to be listed only in Nigeria. It will be listed on a multiple exchange across Africa. So people can invest. So even in the future, if it happens that artificial intelligence takes over your job, because of the investment that you have done, you are covered to a large extent. You are covered, right? Or people can come together, right? Some people can come together and invest or run an enterprise. These are the ways that, on my own, that I'm just thinking that people can actually do, because whether you like it or not, the reality is staring us in the face. People will lose job. There won't be jobs. No, one way or the other, even the artificial intelligence will also create jobs. Because there was a report I saw recently that even artificial intelligence is even trying to employ some people to do some basic things. But if you look at the plus or minus, people will lose job. And we have got to be thinking, how are we going to cushion this effect? And part of it is what Jim just suggested. Let people come together, put resources together, run to form an enterprise, or invest in the likes of the Google of this world, the Nvidia of this world. Nvidia just hit $1 billion trillion less than a year. Between that last year and now is $5 trillion valuation. It has never happened in the history of enterprise in the whole world. And what are they doing? It's chips. It's basically artificial intelligence. And that is what you'll be seeing. I mentioned
Right.
that Meta, just a second. Meta, that's Facebook. Now, their valuation around is about 720 billion. And because of they are now going into chips production and some strategic investment in artificial intelligence, and they are being projected to be 1.75 trillion worth. Guys, we have got to put our thinking cap and be seeing how can we cushion the effect of artificial intelligence. Job loss will be massive. Thank you.
Okay.
Right. Real quick, the NVIDIA, the CEO, just came out with a $249 project that runs solo. It's a 70 trillion computations per second. It does it kind of runs offline. You know what I'm trying to say? Did you see about that? In other words, you won't need technically a data center anymore. It's basically a data center in your pocket. I think that the data centers that are being built are kind of already ancient and old. I think that the AI will go surpass what is already being built. Wasn't probably designed by AI. Like these factories that are being built. It's like some of the robots that I can understand. I can see UBI being used to pay for these robots, and then the product that the robots are making, excuse me, we would pay a tax on that. And that's how you would supply the company, and that's how in return you would get dividends. Does that make sense?
In a way, that makes sense, because the robots are are actually taking the place of the humans, and as such, the taxes that should have been that should have been levied on the humans are being paid by the robots, which indirectly is being paid by the 10% owners of such AI tools or AI operations. But what we are talking about is that some persons are raising concerns that in this our world, where the means to actually productively be engaged to work so that you can get access to income, you can actually earn a living. You are now out of this job, not because you are not ready to work, but because the artificial intelligence, the AI, the robotics has taken over the actual function of a man. Two basic concerns is that are people not going to lose control? Because when you are being paid by the government of a particular country or what have you in the world, wherever you belong to, will they not exercise some levels of control over what you do and what you should not do? That's one. Then two, we all know that one of the greatest challenge any human being can have is sitting in one place, meaning that we are created to be engagedly involved in one production process or the other. In a situation whereby, as human, you are no longer actively involved in day-to-day running of some exercise with of some enterprise, which actually translate to exercising your body, your brain, and the likes of that. Don't you think that human being will begin to get more docile and some strange diseases, sicknesses will begin to come up? Because I've had the experience as an HR person, I've observed a lot of persons after retirement, just like going back home to die, because they stopped doing what is making them to be active, moving from one place to the other, and the likes of that. And you just see them, they degrade over time. So, what's your feel on this? Dr. Joe, you're welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. So, Mr. Josh, what's your take on this? You are muted.
Here now. I look at it in multi-dimensional approach. Yeah. Originally, when we were created into the Garden of Eden, we were not to be doing anything. We were actually to just be nurturing the Garden of Eden. So you were not expected. You were not ahead. The first man that was created.
Okay.
You were not supposed to walk.
Let me jump in on
I
that.
I believe that. I really do.
Well, let me jump in on that.
Please jump.
Even the creator himself walked. And you being the Garden of Eden, you are expected to walk, because if not, God would
Work
have
on work
God
on
would have
loving other people and your community. So if one person takes care of the next person, nobody needs a job. I mean, we could all be without jobs and just eat food and take care of each other. I don't understand the principal need for consumption. I don't know. Understand that. Like, if there was product that was given to us because we could buy it through UBI, wouldn't that like make you're saying that would make people docile? I actually think it'd be the opposite. I think people will get off their butt because they're
What
not
about
forced to go to a job every day.
okay, Dr. Joe, what's your take on this? What about control? Don't you think human being will start getting controlled by, because it is he who pays the piper that determines the tune? Dr. Joe, over to you.
I mean, yeah, it's a very interesting discussion. Where first and foremost, I think I'd like to come in where the other person stopped before Jim Barracks commented. Why Adam was in the garden. he's kind of partially right by saying he was not supposed to walk. And he's not completely right because it depends on what you define, how you define work. What does work means, right? So that could make it right or wrong. But so if you say he's not supposed to work, he's right because that was not the definition that we give to work is not what God give to work. Work itself is hard. Like most of the time, I don't pray for work or job. It's hard. When you say work, that's hard, right? So God does not want us to do work because work definition of work itself is something hard, really, really, really hard, right? So what God told Adam was to care for the garden, to tend the garden, to take care of it, tend it, make it look good and stuff like that. And that's not hard, right? That's very lucrative and very, it's a smart way that God expected him to do that, right? He also told him to name the animals, to be giving names to the animals, and to just obey everything God has told him to do. God, and then get ready to meet with God to have good time, right? So I think that was really, really good, right? So if you talk about work, yeah, he's right because he's not supposed to work, but it's not that he's supposed to be idle either. He was given certain task to be doing in the garden, right? So now society as is the problem is from the society, right? Society, they've given names to things, they've confused a lot of people with terminology, with language, with grammar, with all kind of ideology and everything, right? In the sense that I mean, because of their own personal goal and pursuit and what they want to achieve, right? A kind of a slavery mentality kind of stuff. So that's how this kind of thing came to be, like, hey, work, job, this, that, all those kind of stuff, right? It's for some people's benefit, right? And which is why I always like to go to what was said in the beginning. Because if I know what was said in the beginning and I follow that line, I can escape all this trap that have been set left and right across the globe, right? So now to back to your question on artificial intelligence. So it's a good invention. Humanity is advancing. That's good because that's what God expects for us to keep growing, to keep, get to that level. We need to get to starting level that God wants us to operate at, right? Level where we don't have to really do something hard, like work, like, but we're not there yet. Even AI is not the peak. It's just the beginning of that discovery that God wants us to discover, right? So AI has its advantage, and it's very good in the sense that it's going to make things a little bit easier. It's going to simplify processes. It's going to streamline difficult tasks. Routine tasks can be, automated, can be programmed, can be, done by a robot and all of those, right? But we still cannot extinguish human being, right? Because the robot is going to be human beings, you and I, that is going to create it anyway. So I mean, it's going to create another employment there, right? And it's going to be you and I that is going to maintain them, that's going to service them, that's going to keep them functioning, that's going to make sure they don't misbehave. So that means it's going to create another job for us, right? So we cannot be completely idle because of AI. Some job will be wiped off, and a lot of new jobs will be created. So the only problem is that those that are hardened and those that will refuse to adjust and change, they will actually suffer a lot because their job will be taken away from them, and then they'll be idle. So idleness can now be a problem because human beings were not supposed to be idle, right? If we are idle, you don't exercise your body, you don't eat good diet, you don't use your brain, you don't use your physical strength, then you're gonna easily disintegrate. The sun ray, the ray from the sun is what actually causes us to disintegrate faster, and that's how we start decaying, aging to the point of dying. Otherwise, we can live forever, which is what is going to happen eventually when God remove all those radioactive elements, or the sun and everything is already taken care of, and there's nothing to disintegrate human being, then we can live forever, right? We're gonna get there. That's a different topic for another day. So now, what you are saying, that if man doesn't do anything, how will it affect his health and stuff like that? So we are not supposed to get to where we don't do anything. Even with AI, we're supposed to be advancing, and then be innovating, be doing something with the AI, be doing other things, right? Be learning and relearning. But if we don't do anything, then it's definitely going to have a lot of impact, because we're going to disintegrate fast and people are going to be dying fast. Remember, back in the days, many millennia ago, people live for 800 years, 500. They are giving birth at 200 years. They're getting married at, some awkward age that you can't imagine now. So because they understand the principle of God, and they understand the principle that govern the universe, and they were operating under those principles, so they can
Dr.
they can prolong their life and live very well.
Dr. Joe, let me chip in something here. I, as an experienced HR, of which I know that Josh himself can attest to this, you will discover a larger chunk of talent out there that are seeking for new employment. The quality has dropped largely because majority of the candidates or talents, whatever you call them now, due to some excessive dependence on artificial intelligence, some are no longer reasoning. You ask them a question, all they just do is go on some AI platform, download it, and just present it without screening through it at all. So that is how docility starts coming into man. A large percentage of our youth across the globe today, a lot of them prefer to be on TikTok, either shaking their body, just entertainment and the likes of that. So the question now is, how much of activity is now going to be left for the human race when 90% of the jobs have been taken away by AI, by robotics and the likes of them, and it's just 10% that are controlling? Now, these are the following questions I want us to answer. Okpayemi, this question is for you first. When work disappears, what happens to man? Mr. Josh, this is your own question. When work disappears, what happens to democracy?
Okay.
Then, hold on, sir. Then, Dr. Ojo, when work disappears, what happens to the voters? I'm asking you that question because you're an African and you know what happens to Africans during the period of election, when the major person that is supplying you your means of livelihood, which according to Elon Musk is going to be a very high amount of money that you can actually live comfortably with, and artificial intelligence and the likes have made things to be a lot more rather cheaper. Now, what happens to fathers and to mothers, young men? That question is for Chukwudi. What happens to fathers and to mothers, to young men in particular, because they no longer work? So let's take it one after the other. Okpeyemi, over to you. Okpeyemi, you can unmute yourself. Okay. I think Okpeyemi, when you join us, okay. Dr. Ojo, you can take it from there, your own side of the question.
So, yeah, thank you. So this particular topic you guys are talking, I didn't know this was going to be the topic today, because I have it as one of the, I'm actually preparing this topic on AI and the future of work and all of those,
Okay.
aligning with leadership for my mentorship session. And I was like looking at, getting those youths prepared. Like, okay, by the time you are in the next 15 years, when you're gonna be in the pool, to be looking for work, this particular job will be gone. These are the job that will be available. So as you are making your career decision, as you are trying to, finish secondary school, go to university and stuff like that, you better be looking in this direction, that direction. So it's kind of surprising to me when I came here. I first went to the YouTube channel. I didn't want to come to live. I went to the channel and I was hearing, I was like, okay, I need to come come to the, to the office, to the studio. So yeah. So this is it's interesting because I still don't know where you get your statistics from that 10% will be only what will be left and 90% will be taken over by AI, right? I don't know where you get the statistics to, but all I know is that the AI cannot take over everything. Like we said, AI
Absolutely.
we create a whole lot of other things, and because we are human, we can always adapt and adjust, right? But what will happen
Yeah.
is when AI take over a lot, you talk about democracy, human being, and then voters, right? Especially in the part of Africa. So it will definitely weaken democracy. It will definitely weaken uh, turnout rate for voting because people may not really see the need to go out to vote. There's no really need to support any candidate as much because if all I want to get, if everything I want to do as a human being, AI is doing it for me. I mean, 90% AI is doing it for me, and I depend more on the AI more than I depend on the president or the governor or the local government. Then why should I vote for them? You know, I know that even right now there are a large percentage of people who doesn't even vote. Even in America, they always say that certain a lot of people don't vote because when they do all the election and they count the votes, you realize that the percentage of the people that actually vote, everything combined compared to the total population of the country, you realize that certain percentage did not vote, and it's like that every election period, every country, right? So now when AI has taken over, you can imagine what will happen is that there's a chance that people will depend on the AI more, and they will not see the need to support any political party or go out to vote, and they just be there and just be doing their thing. It's another level of freedom. It's also a different level of society. It will come with its own risk and it will come with its own opportunity. I think that's how I'm gonna say leave it.
Okay. Thank you so very much, Dr. Joe. Now, over to you, Mr. Josh.
Okay. Thank you very
Hello.
much, Dr. Ojo.
Okay.
Um, interestingly, earlier today, I was reading about how Socrates, you remember, Socrates was against the idea of democracy back in the days, I think 17th centuries. He was totally against democracy. What he said about democracy, because you were saying what will now happen to democracy when AI takes over. It was Socrates, Socrates was saying when you go to the hospital that you need a doctor to attend to you, it is the best hand. It's not about voting, but the best hand. But when it comes to democracy, it's not always the best. It's more or less the best man is the one that emerges. So it was against the idea of democracy. That's one. Secondly, Dr. Ojo said something. There is if you remember Matthias' theory that was saying the rate at which population is growing, that it will come to a time whereby man will start killing themselves. Do we all remember Matthias' theory in economics way back in our college?
Yes, that states that Human population is growing at a geometric rate, and as
Yeah,
such, the supply of food on
yeah.
land is growing at arithmetic age. It will get to a point whereby the supply of human will cause a stress on land, and that will lead to chaos.
Did it happen? The nature adjusted. Even this so-called AI we are saying, nature will adjust to a large extent. Right? Nature will naturally adjust. The only
Mm.
thing is that now a whole lot of guys on the social media now, they are more or less like promoting brand ambassador, and people are earning from it substantial without working, maybe sharing their knowledge, doing all those things. So to a large extent, nature will adjust to a large extent. It may not be totally.
Okay. Okay,
Yes,
that's
but the thing, let me say this for somebody like me. If I have, and again, like I mentioned, Dr. Joe, we know some nations of the world, even United Kingdom, a whole lot of people are not working. Government is paying them, they give them house. So no, it limits their ambition. Once they just get council house and government is paying them token every month, they are comfortable. So it's not just happening. The only thing is that it will happen on a larger scale. So finally, for when you say for me, if I'm not working now, I will even be more creative. I will be more creative. I may not do physical work, running up and down, but in terms of reading, in terms of playing golf, in terms of creating like music, like something that is not. You don't need to exert energy. You don't need to run up and down. If the so-called very wealthy people, they don't really work. They just engage their minds. I don't know. Maybe I'm communicating. The fact that it depends on individual, right? The fact that your AI is going to take over your job, I think you will move to another level of productivity. Yes, a whole lot of people now, you see them online creating content and enjoying it. I don't see artificial intelligence taking over football. We have just watched the Champions Cup tonight. So you will still see another creative aspect that will not require exerting energy and all that before you earn. So that's my view. Yeah. Thank you.
okay. Thank you so very much. In case you're just coming across this live stream,
All right.
let me tell you what we are talking
Okay.
about tonight is something that is bothering about our lives, your life, the life of your children, the life of the generation to come. And as such, we really need to decipher this carefully so that we don't rush into a world that we are not prepared for. So the next person that will be coming up with his contribution is Ibrahim. Ibrahim, can we have you please, Okoyemi? Over to you, Okoyemi.
Okay. Good evening. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening,
Okay.
Okoyemi.
So,
Hey, good
truth be told,
evening.
if you say what happens to man, yes. If you can hear me, please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So if you say what happens to man, truth be told, when work disappears, a lot happens to man. That's just the truth. A lot happens to man. Now, the way we're designed as men, we have this mentality of we want to be in charge, we want to provide, we want to support and the likes. So when the work disappears, man loses
Wow, I think Okoyemi's network is a hard
man
one.
will lose purpose. Oh, oh no. Can you hear me this way?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say in essence is that when the work disappears, man suffers. However, In the midst of man losing his income and losing his sense of identity, also losing his purpose because of the way man is created or designed, that man always want to support, and man also want to make impacts. Okay, in the midst of all of this, I am confirming to you, Dr. Joe already said that already. AI cannot take over 100% of all activities. In the midst of all of this, human or man still remains relevant. It might be in little percentage, but the truth still remains that man will always and will always remain relevant in everything. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so very much for that. That's a very good one. But let me ask you this and chip in this as well. For example, do you realize that the world of photography is crying for help now? Because there is sharp decline in the number of persons that get themselves to the studio for photography shoot, because now they can actually undress their whole picture and put on a new robe right from Instagram and the like. They see the designer wears Tommy Hilfiger and what have you. They can actually wear themselves those dresses for their next birthday. So photographers are now what? They are crying it, they are finding it hard for them to survive. So what are we saying? There is always the pros and the cons of what's it called, AI. But the question is, are we ready to it? So over to you, Chukuri, Jim.
I think the whole thing comes down to efficiency. One of the things I think about is how weather models are already used and predicted. Uh, we need to understand how shipping lanes work. The fact that you can have a diesel removed from the road and an electric truck are already running here in the United States on certain interstates where the truck is running autonomously. Now, is this efficient and is it worth for society to get a benefit from? First of all, let's just put it simple. There's a lot of carbon energy taken just to get gasoline out of the ground. And do you not think that there's already some form of free energy that they have hidden and they don't want us to know about and need to keep us on a meter? I think with AI, there's a potential breakthrough as far as people knowing the difference of what status quo they've always lived under. The status quo has to go. The way that financial assets work in America and have moved its complete manufacturing relevates back down to 1971 when Nixon took us off the gold standard. For forever the dollar's been in decline, but now it's in a boost. And the strange thing is the Strait of Hormuz is closed. What is going on with the energy crisis? If there's is not the stock market supposed to fall? And it's not. The stock market's rising. That's what I see. I don't understand the actual issue because they're trying to bring in the digital dollar at the same time. I mean, there's a reset going on, and I think they already have the energy, and they're just saying, okay, tell me if I'm wrong on that.
Okay, thank you so very much, Jim. You mentioned one part. You mentioned a particular word that is very key there. There is a what? A reset going on. Now, if there is actually a reset going on in the world, and large numbers of persons are already tilting towards that reset, and larger part of the populace still do not know about this reset, because the idea is that you are trying to work on for several months. Just imputing the same idea into an AI platform, you get solutions to it within minutes. Now, this question is for you. If work as it is today is taken away from you, who are you? So, Dr. Ojo and Josh, Who are you when no one is willing to pay you to be useful? Can you answer that question for us? I know that Dr. Ojo is into consultancy, and I know that Josh is into global recruitment. Now,
Global infrastructure.
infrastructures, yes. Now, relating it to your field, Dr. Ojo and Mr. Josh, can you please tell us who are you when no one is going to pay you to being useful? When AI has ended up taking large chunk of your functions? Over to you,
But
Dr. Ojo.
but I gotta jump in real quick. I'm sorry, Dale, but the whole money system is based on fiat currency, and they can print money. It's I don't understand. Like does it not make sense that they can just print the money all they want, and it doesn't make sense. The argument is that if they have UBI, that would mean the central banks are gone, correct?
To start with, when you talk of printing money is one of the lowest thing that any economy can do to survive realistically, because there is what we call the forces of demand and supply. This should be the determinant of what is in circulation as money. So whenever any government or any system is going into printing money, what you are doing is what? You are actually eroding value. And that is why you have a scenario whereby hyperinflation or whatever class of inflation comes to bear. So you are creating more, uh, more trouble for the society when any economy goes into printing money. Because the the higher the level of supply, what happens to what? What happens to money? The value of money diminishes, because money is money because it is scarce. And once you take away the principle of scarcity from money, then it's actually not not useful. Sorry about that. So once you take away the principle of scarcity from money, then it's actually not useful. So now, Dr. Ojo and Mr. Josh, who are you when no one is willing to pay you to be useful?
All right, so that's a very good question, right? You are talking about identity, right?
Yes,
Um,
please.
yeah. So for me, it takes me back to the origin, right? Because you can't talk about identity if you don't know your origin, your source. So you have to understand your source, your origin, for you to be able to define your identity. And that could mean a lot of different things to different people, right? Depending on yourself, your perspective, your mindset, what you believe, what society has put there that you have taken, and all of those, right? But regardless of what is in the society, regardless of improvement, development, AI, and whatnot, uh, there is that identity, right? That is particular to every person that we should know, or we are expected to know, but some people may not know it, right? So, uh, for me, I know who I am with AI or without AI. All right. I know that I'm someone that was created by God. Right. So I'm a creation of God with the image of God, carrying his image and everything about him everywhere I go. Right. I can say that anytime, anywhere. I cannot be confused regardless of whatever the technology advancement that is happening now or later in the future. Right. So now with that, identifying myself, right, as that creation of God in the image of God, right? I can now tie that to who God is, right? God is a creator. He has that ability in him to create, right? And what he expects human being that he created for those that believe that to do is also to replicate what he does, right? So if he's a creator and he created me, and I have that trait and that capacity and capability in me that I got from him, he expects me to do the same thing, right? So that aspect of man is linked to, you know, uh, uh, the creativity of God, the stewardship of man towards God, as well as the participation in that assignment of creation, right? Which bring about all these development and invention and all that we are talking about, right? And I can say that they are good because human being is gradually tracing himself back to the source. The source is always going to remain the source. No matter how many, if we go north, south, east, and west and jump up and down and say all kind of things, tell lies, tell the truth, mix it up and everything, we still always going to go back at some point to the source, which is the real truth, which is the real identity, right? And that's where we are going, right? Because like when God created human beings, he didn't create us to work, or he didn't create us for job or for work, because the concept of work comes in place because of this slavery mentality of people who want to own you, want you to be under them, want to pay you for XYZ. That was not the intention of God. The intention of God is for us to, just enjoy everything, take care of everything, be a still worship, is what God expects, and to be co-creator with him. So we are not to be paid, or we're supposed to just enjoy everything, but just do something that will engage our mind, our creativity, because that's who he is. That's what he has deposited in us, right? So that's who I will be with AI or without AI. I will be that person that have that awareness to engage my mind, to engage my brain, to engage my creativity, to engage the DNA that is in me, that can bring something out of nothing, that can, add 1+1 and make it 2, that can, produce and invent and create and maintain and multiply, and mentor people, and solve problem, because there will always be problem, there will always be something to address, to name things, to create things, to invent things, to make improvements in the capacity that I can, or in the capacity that will benefit human beings. So that's what I would be. Because when you talk about that AI, when you talk about that identity with work and with job and everything, it's because of that mentality and that mindset that somebody want to own somebody, you want somebody to be under you, you want to pay them, take away their time, take away their freedom and their liberty, and give them little things and so on. We're supposed to have access to everything that God has given to us. You want to take it, everything, to yourself, and then I come and beg from you. That's where human beings are messing it up. If we recall, when this universe was created, there's no need to get visa to go to South Africa or to go to United Kingdom. There's no need for visa. We could all go anywhere we want at any point in time. But because of that mentality, that switch, that flip, is what brought about all this partitioning and boundary and border and all kind of crazy thing that is happening now. It's not supposed to be. So we will eventually go back to the original, to the source where we came from. And the aspect of money is also the reason why money was also created as well, right? The original money are what? Gold, silver, diamond, land, all these natural resources are the real money. All what we are calling money are not money. They are just a system to enslave people, So I will still retain my identity as a
Okay.
creator, as a creative mind, as a creative being, and I will still function without or with AI.
Okay. That's a good one. Thanks, Dr. Ojo. Before Mr. Josh responds to that last question, uh, we have Claudia here. Claudia says, "Greetings. It's all about control and the world population and economy." She says further that God's creation cannot be replaced by man-made machines. That is good, but I have a breaking news for you, Madam Claudia. Machines are already taking place of man in our present world. AI is actually taking the place of man to a large extent. And talking to Madam Claudia, I feel as a fashion designer that you are, you it will help you to also start researching on how you can use these AI tools to your advantage. Presently, I know of some technology that can measure customers, that can take customers' measurements without being there. All you just need to do, send them the link, and they get measured via AI tools anywhere in the world. And we also have machines now that are into cutting of fabrics and the likes of them. We also have machines that are into specific design, embroidery designs of clothes and the likes of them. So, and if you really want to survive the world that we have found ourselves in, let's get prepared, because AI is here to stay, and it's not just staying, it's expanding. Is
Yeah.
It's only those that are not going to get prepared that are going to end up like the people that were working on IBM typewriters today. They are nowhere to be found because the computers have taken their job. Now is AI turn. Okay, so uh, Mr. Josh, this question as a founder of a well-known infrastructure with respect to talent, recruitment, placement, training, onboarding, and bringing them up to speed with what is the latest in the global north. What do you have to say with what AI is doing? You can unmute so that we can hear you. Okay, I I think he has a break there. Okay, over to you, Jim.
Yeah,
What?
real quick. What are the big things kids are here doing with AI? Yeah, first of all, they're doing stuff in the stock market with it too. They're creating bots that do their whole portfolio for them. They'll plug in things and get that. I mean, so there's financials. But one of the other things that's really smart, there's a thing called 3D printers, right? And so these kids are gonna be able to make something in AI modeling and be able to shift that image over into the 3D printer. Now, if you've got a little widget or something that you've made or you have a good invention, these are very good projects for youth. Now, supporting the youth to get 3D printers is, something that can be done. I look at that as one of the founding great ways to get somebody's creativity out onto the mainstream really quickly, because if the product is worth it, you know how it is, you put it on TikTok or something and somebody sells it, next thing you know you got a phone call, and maybe your company gets, maybe somebody invests in you or something like that. So with deep talent, I can see an infrastructure where they can facilitate that. But having projects in line for them, is something that has to have funding, and that's the issue where I'm at.
Okay.
So to chip in something real quick. So I think
Okay.
it's a good challenge. This topic and discussion on AI is a good challenge, and it shouldn't be something that should scare humanity, right? Because I think human being we function better when we are challenged. Look, as in the Stone Age, where they fight war with spear and and horses and run up the hill and run down the hill and crazy, right? It's not the same way we fight now. We are using drones and all those kind of stuff now, right? You don't even have to leave your house. You can just send a drone and you can go and drop a bullet or a bomb in 1,000 miles away, right? So what am I saying is that it's a good challenge. I think it should challenge human being to and should help us to lead. It should lead us or should help us to be more creative, to be able to think more, right? Because it's as a result of thinking, as a result of trying to solve problem that this invention of AI came to being, right? So we shouldn't be afraid of it, but it should be a good challenge that we should now say, okay, then what next? And that's what should trigger our creativity as human beings, which is in our DNA. That creativity is in our DNA, but we have to engage it, we have to activate it. So the challenge of AI taking over jobs should help us activate that our DNA that has the creativity in it, to bring that creativity out as to what else can we do, what else should we do, how can we continue to survive and not just become idle, right? And that's where mentorship come in, right? Because
Right.
uh, through mentorship we can get the information out to people to be like, hey, be ready, in the next 15 years XY job will be gone, so what are you going to do at that time? And then XY job will be created. Can you start looking that direction? So that should trigger people to also now start learning more in the direction that things are going to be happening or unfolding, and be prepared ahead of time. So those that are left behind now in this age was because uh, they were not creative enough, or they were stubborn to their way of doing things. They refuse to be flexible. They refuse to adjust, and they are getting left behind so quick. In photography, like you are saying, and everything, right? In the next few years, we probably will not be doing all of those anymore, right? So, but then before that time comes, this short space of time that we have, through effective mentorship, I think people can be aware and people can be pointed in the right direction of what to do and how to, to move fast and do
Yeah,
something.
how do you build the competitive spirit within your mentors? How do you want to make them compete? You know what I'm trying to say by do they not necessarily have a rival, but do they have a challenge? They want to compete, right? You know what I'm trying to say?
Right. So yeah, so that's a good one, and you can give me more idea on how they can compete if you have idea that can benefit us. But yeah, they are we have activity for them, right? That they challenge one another, give them topics that they discuss, that they provide answers to, give them challenging projects and things that they have to go and think and, go find answer from their parent, their peer, their teacher and stuff like that, right? And come up with something, right? That will challenge them, that we, stir up their motivation and their curiosity. That's mostly challenging them, and also stirring up their curiosity, because the future is really, really going to be really wonderful in the future. So that's how we do. But we also uh, going to include like debate. There's another other foundation that handle debate and all those kind of other stuff, right? Debate is also another challenge. And then maybe in the future there will be opportunity for those group, maybe in Nigeria, that they can now engage with other group, other mentorship or group in maybe in America and all of those. And then we can start topic like this. I'll give them some debatable questions and projects and stuff like that, that we even challenge them more. So we are open to all those kind of things that can help. But I'm talking about mentorship in this aspect of AI, how we can start thinking on how to mentor people so that people are ready. It's all about the readiness, because it's
Right.
already here. It's already here and it's not going anywhere. And if people are stubborn and they are not ready to adjust, they're going to be left behind. They're going to be kicked off. Like, I know of somebody that was given 5 minutes to leave their job, that they don't need them again. Like, hey, you have 5 minutes to leave. We don't need you again. So imagine if they are not ready, they are not prepared, they don't have any other thing. What would they do? What would they tell their family and stuff like that? You see what I'm saying? So that's what's going to be happening in the next few years with AI. People are going to be losing their job. People are going to get to office and they're going to be like, hey, sorry, we have another person that can do all of 20 people's job, so we don't need you guys again. Go back home.
Right, right.
Okay,
Does
and
it
that
is Josh's microphone working?
I think is offline now. Let me just quickly come in because tonight's podcast is just for 1 hour. Because tomorrow we have another podcast, and that I'm going to talk about that at the close of this night podcast. Tomorrow's podcast, tomorrow's live stream is a very important one, as Cetro's Foundation partners with another foundation that is going from schools to school to impact life. We're going to talk about the synergy. But back to what we are discussing tonight, I want us to look at something here, which is one of the challenges that a lot of persons are going to be having in this era. Um, Sorry that I'm using this. Madam Claudia's response says, I am glad you mentioned about fashion designing. However, I would never want a brainless machine designing for me. Now, I purposely brought out this because people like Dr. Ojo and Josh, they are going to have this challenge of mentoring talent, mentoring great minds in their numerous fields on how to embrace AI, at least for the moment, how to embrace AI so that they are not left out. Let me quickly state this. While I was in the banking sector several years back, which is up to about 10 years back now, I remember vividly that I was introduced to a machine that does embroidery for me without waiting to queue up for the manual embroiders. And that machine is called the embroidery machine. The Yuki, the whatever, two lions or three lions, what have you. I've forgotten the name of the brand. Now, when I got that machine, what a human being, we do embroidery on a particular cloth for maybe 2 days, and they'll say come back and likes. In less than 5 minutes, it does it for me. So, Madam Claudia, I'm saying this. I would not want you to be left out in fashion in terms of expansion. I understand you that you can talk about you don't want a brainless machine to handle your design, but I'm also sure that you'll be glad when you have the opportunity to make more money with less time and less energy. Because your design, I've seen so many of your designs. Maybe one of these nights I will collate some of her beautiful designs and display. I know she's very creative. She designs a whole lot. But the question is, how many designs are you going to make in a week to give you $1 million?
Depending on
Where
how many people she has working for her.
Right.
you understand? Now this question is, how many people, even if you want to get human beings, how many workers are you going to employ to give you a $1 million production? So, with the use of AI and the knowledge you have, you can actually achieve far more than this. You can go into large scale production, removing the bottleneck of having too many people on your payroll. That's the painful truth. And that is why when you see someone like Elon Musk saying that 90% of the currently employed people are going to turn out to be unemployed, not because the economy is failing, but because AI is taking over the jobs. And people are going to be paid. People are going to be paid high rate salary, higher class of salary for doing nothing. But my question still remains as we bring this discussion to a close.
But how
Doctor,
fast do you think this is coming? Do you think this is the next 5 years, 2 years?
I can tell you that this is something that is less than 10 years. Let me just
10,
put it on the
10
safer
to
side.
15 years.
Yeah, it's actually less than 10 years. If you look at the pace at which numerous advancement is happening, while you are still trying to learn ChatGPT, you have Claude. While you are still trying to learn Claude, you have Manus. While you are still trying to learn Manus, you have Grok. And while you are still saying, oh, Claude is doing great, Manus is expanding, is doing latest version, everything is just moving too fast, too fast. I can tell you the fact that presently I was asking my wife. I said, "Do I actually need somebody that is brilliant to run my business? I don't think so. All I just need is somebody that is neat, presentable, that has manner, and can welcome people in. Because what I actually need to pay more for, system like AI system, like Manus, like Claude, can actually do that for me. Memos that will take you racking your brain 3 to 4 hours trying to typeset and bring it out. Manus will
Yep.
give you a very fast. Manus and Claude can give you a very ready to present memo, ready to present sales speech in less than 5 minutes. So why not just pay about $20 and I have the worker there for me for the month instead of paying hundreds of thousands to do that, to have that done. So you're
Well,
going to
wouldn't you want to support your community by giving them jobs?
that is another ball, another side of the story now. Because if you look at it, that is where the challenge of AI taking over is. Because it's not everybody that thinks community. Majority of the business owners, they are after profit.
Money, yeah.
And it's only few that will think about community. But now, let's look at this. The few that are actually going to think about community, what is the motive for doing anything for the community? Which is why this topic is something that is very sensitive that we need to look at. Because someone can be supporting a community with a mindset that he wants to have excessive, unchecked control.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it becomes problematic. Because reading through what Elon Musk actually postulated, that 90% are going to lose their jobs, and a way to calm the situation, to pull the situation under care, is to encourage that the government begin to pay a higher amount of money to sustain them while they are not working. I think that's just my own opinion. I
Well,
think
they
this
should
is
just eliminate all taxes then. I mean,
So,
it.
I think that what he's saying is realistic, but the conclusion is not really encouraging in the sense that instead of encouraging the government to be ready to pay those people just for doing nothing, for losing their job, I think we should be focusing on mentorship ahead of time, because we can mentor those group that we already identify. We can identify the job that will be lost between now and the next 15 years, and then we can capture the statistics of the people that are currently on that job, and then we can also now start empowering them by proper mentorship to get them ready for what they can shift to. Maybe some will say no, some will not want to do that, but at least through proper mentorship, through good mentorship program, certain percentage or larger percentage could still adjust and be ready to shift to a different occupation that will be available at that time when they are about to lose, or they can even change their job before they even lose it, right? So I think that would be much better. But based on what you are saying in terms of excessive control, power, domination, and control, because some people are just made like that, or they made themselves like that to always want to be in control and want to. It's an slavery mentality, which is against uh, what is right for humanity, right? But whatever they benefit from that, so they will want to encourage similar things, because when government pays you for doing nothing, then government has control over you, and then you
okay.
cannot vote. You cannot vote against them. You cannot speak up against them. You cannot say anything if they say, okay, they want to kill 1 million people because population is too much. You can't say anything because they are paying you, and they can easily kill you if.
But
Uh,
we've been doing that in humanity's history. We've already been doing that. with or
Which is
without
not,
the UBI.
it's not
I
right though.
mean,
Okay.
but
So
but you're saying it could get worse now. So you don't have any hope or faith in the future, like that. There's anything positive from AI coming out of this?
no,
Like, because
let
there's
me
okay. Let me finish real quick. You asked me earlier. I never got to answer the question. You asked me what happens to the parents,
yeah.
right? Of the okay. So if an example is given to you, I gave you the example about the electric truck, right? Well, that's a parent's job. One of those parents' jobs just been lost. What is he going to go do? Well, Josh mentioned earlier, and I think if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Ojo also kind of agrees that man's not meant to work. Now, is it mentioned in the Bible about a jubilee? Is there such thing in the governments have been talking about called Nasera or just Sarah? Like, have we been robbed long enough that the money that UBI is being, what you say, is controlling us? It's just money that is given back to us, just like it says in the Bible.
Okay. Um, let me try to get the last part of what you said now by saying this: humans are wired to work. Parents are wired to work so that they can provide for their family. And if you, as a parent, you no longer enjoy that empowerment to work, to take care of your family, because even your family now is being taken care of by a system. So
How could you
that
be
means,
taking care of your family if you're working all the time?
so what I'm saying, what I'm saying is that if a system is already taking care of your children for you, do you know the implication of that? Without
Yes.
without you, your children can actually be fine. So you are like you are like a figurehead that
So
is
then they can introduce anything to your children and you will not have no say.
that you understand what we are
And
saying? So,
that's
Yeah,
dangerous.
yeah, that's indoctrination. And yeah, if you look at like the basic sheep mentality, yeah, the whole, everybody's been raised in an educational system that has taught them certain things, correct? I mean, if the mold was broken though, and we had a new cast set, would that not cause a revolution? I mean, because if AI, I don't think AI is going to get anywhere, by the way. I think this is rushing too fast, and humans have already proved every time we rush into something, we mess it up. Next thing you know, there's going to be a massive earthquake, just shakes every data center. I mean, can they survive a tornado? Why are they not built underground where they're cooler or up in the north in Alaska or something? Why are they making these things in the middle of the desert? I mean, give me a break. It's like, and then it's an AI bubble in the stock market, right? I mean, there's 7 companies that rule the S&P. If one of them has a bad day, everybody has a bad day.
true.
So, I mean, I just look at it as that the status quo has got to go. People have to be shaken out of this misery. It's bad. It's really bad. There's no end light at the end of the tunnel. Nobody's seeing it right now. And if you think AI is going to bring you out of it, you got a big mistake coming because there's going to be chaos before that. If you think people are going to let AI just jump in and start taking nursing positions at healthcare facilities or taking trucks away from them, you got another thing coming. I don't think people are going to stand down and go, oh, yep, okay, my job's gone. No, they'll fight for their jobs because they have a passion for it. And if their community doesn't stand with them, they're probably out of a job.
Okay, that's a good one. I think at this point we will just give our end note, our summary to this topic. But please listen. If you're just joining us, if you are seeing this, kindly note that AI is not a destructive mechanism. AI is here to stay. In short, it's already staying. AI is here to make your job easier, more faster, and more fun-filled to handle. But what we are saying is that there is nothing in this world that should not be well properly checkmated. Because if not, anything can go south. And as such, the question we want to ask ourselves is, are we prepared for the negative, the positive side of the AI triangle that we have looked ourselves into? If not, just ask yourself this question that will help you to stand the test of time. What I am presently doing, can AI do it better? If yes, then how can I own the idea of how to run the AI to do it better for me so that I can still retain my self worth? I think that's the angle we should be looking at now. While there are some extreme angles that we do not want to go to, that is the extreme aspect of AI taking over everything 100%, and we humans being turned to robotic that can be controlled because somebody is paying our bill. I don't want to believe that, but we as humans, we need to live up the expectation. And please, at this point in time, as we wrap up, I want Dr. Ojo Okoyemi and Jim Barak to kindly tell us, advise us, in short, advise our viewers what and what they need to do to remain in focus so that AI is not seen as a threat to their existence. Over to you, Dr. Ojo.
All right, thank you so much. So, yeah, everybody should be prepared for the future that is so uncertain. AI is already here, and I think it's here to stay. And I think it should be checkmate and should be controlled strictly. It is what we make of it, right? Everything has the good side and bad side of it, even including we human. We get hungry. People get hungry. People do bad stuff, right? Even though we're human, we're supposed to be nice to one another. So it's depend on what is being used for. So we are encouraging everybody to focus on the positive side of the AI, and while we are also encouraging the institutional authority, the government, the inventor of the AI to focus on compliance and focus on continuity of humanity and not let it get out of control or not let it get out of not let it get to the hand of the bad ones who will use it for negative things. And then for the general populace, uh, if you already know your job is going to get taken away by AI in the next few years, uh, maybe that's when you need to come and talk to someone like us to get proper mentorship, or what should you do? So instead of panicking and being anxiety and getting depressed and writing your will and willing everything to your children and stuff like that before your time, you can actually come for therapy, mentorship, and then we'll guide you on what you can do next, where the opportunity are or where the opportunity would be, and how you can start getting educated little by little from now ahead of time and get prepared by then, so that way you're not out of job, you still have something to do, you still have uh, how to be able to take care of your family without depending solely on the people that want to enslave you or that could enslave you. But you can trigger your creativity that is already in your DNA and be more productive. Even as AI is taking over your past job, you could still be more productive in other area and still earn a living. So I think it's a good challenge, and human beings should be ready to face that challenge. And we're always going to come out strong. We are human for a reason, because we can adapt, we can adjust, we can overcome all challenges. So I wish everybody the best. The world of AI, we'll see what it looks like. I can't wait to enjoy the fun.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ojo. And for those of you out there, if you need a consultation with Dr. Ojo, you can pay a visit to Uplinks Global. Dr. Ojo, can you please put up your link so that we can share it here? Uh, just send it to the comment section so that we can share it here. And tomorrow, something is going to happen. But before we listen to that, I want Jim Barrack to give us his closing remark. You are
Thank
muted.
you. Thank you, sir. I know I interrupted a little bit and I apologize today, but the subject is a good versus bad type of thing, and weighing out the differences is huge. I think the youth are in a position where they need a lifeline thrown to them. Not only is it financially, at least here in this country, uh, it's financially getting worse for the youth. You're already priced out of buying a home here in America. So yes, prepare for it. Make it take advantage of what is given to you. Use your creativity to your best advantage. I totally understand where Madame Claudia is saying how she would not let a machine touch her creation because it's her personal creation, and that's what makes it valuable. And that's why AI won't be as valuable as her dress is that's made by hand. So there's many good ways of looking at this. I think the opportunity to get together and have minds come across and explore these avenues is what's so important. And I like to see the challenges that are being made by having these conversations. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so very much. That's Jim Barak for you there, our African brother with a touch of white painting. Okay, so Okoyemi, do we have you there? Okoyemi, are you there? You have the floor, Okoyemi.
Please, okay, but you can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, okay, fine. Um, so the topic is it's a continuous one, and it's a topic where if if everybody start talking about it, it's just going to keep going and going and going on. However, in the midst of all of this, I think it is just right for the government to put in place a control measure, you know, when it comes to AI usage. Because yes, it is true, AI has actually brought in some level of efficiency, some level of speed to our day-to-day life, making life easy. Before now, most I can say for free. Before now, if you ask somebody to draft you a note or send you a memo or something, we just sit down, come up with our creativity shoe and just start sending up or writing up the memo. But as it stands now, I think everybody now is lazy, and nobody is actually wearing any creativity shoe anymore. We just want to pick or select any AI tool of our choice and give it a prompt and get our memo from there, and we'll submit. In light of this, I will advise we humans or men to pay attention to ourselves, to be more creative, to also understand that yes, AI is there to assist us, but not to take our job. And in the case where it does happen, we should still open up our mind, because there are a lot of things we can still do as human that will not have an AI interference, and we can still have a balance. Like Dr. Ojo said, Dr. Ojo said is offering free mentorship. I'm sorry. Okay, so he said he's offering mentorship, not free one, please. And it's actually a good one. It's a good one. It's a welcome development for us. And if we look at the side effect of AI, it's actually a lot. We have cases where AI is actually a basic tool for creating war, for creating chaos in some part of the country. You know, like I said, a proper control measure can make all of this a welcome idea or a welcome innovation to human. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so very much.
It was well said.
Ibrahim. That's a very good one. Just like I promised us, let's quickly. I want to just introduce you to the the guys that are doing something great in schools. They've been to over 400 schools, impacting the life of children, students in the public schools. And I'll be bringing them in tomorrow to have a discussion with them to see what and what they have been doing to schools across some parts in in Nigeria. So let me.
Thank you, sir. I'm very sure we learned a lot of things today. Yes or no? We learned a lot of things today. Let me see your hands up. Good, that is very good. Those are the back. Didn't you learn something? Let me see your hands up. Very good. So you see, everything they've taught us today, I want us to put them into practice. What did I say? There's an adage that says, action speaks louder than voice. What did I say? Everybody's here today. I am not the one. Let's take it into practice. We said something about examination malpractice that we
Okay, let me just chip in here. I do not want to do much of a video play here. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk more about this young man. Like you know what we do at Cetro's Foundation. What this guy does is in a very different perspective. You know, at Cetro's Foundation, we concentrate on majorly on craft, but this guy is concentrating on academics, going to schools, helping. You know, the kind of school he's even going to, they are largely public schools. It's just of recent, he started adding private schools to it, but largely public schools. And public schools in Nigeria precisely, you and I, a lot of people knows what actually happens there, but he has been able to build large numbers of youths that would have lost hope even in becoming anything. He has been able to bring them out of the shackles of being lost in the crowd, finding their way back. So he organizes competitions for them, um, like debate competitions and like things that will make them to focus or to be driven towards academia. So we are partnering with him so that when he goes to those schools, as he is handling what relates to academic development of these youths, we are taking care of those that actually do not have business in being in a formal school. That is the greatest challenge that most organizations, most establishments are not solving. It's not school is not, especially in this part of Africa, school is not for everyone. Those in the Western world, they understand what I'm talking about. Skill can survive, can make you can survive very well with your skill. So, as this guy is taking care of those that are academically inclined, that need to be tailored, to be counseled, to be mentored towards becoming the best academically, so that they can be prepared for the normal four walls of corporate organizations. We have discussed that he will be letting us have access to those youth that in the first place they were not supposed to be disturbing themselves about forcing themselves into the world of academia, but they just need the basic education so that they can read and write, maybe secondary school level, and from there we can take over whatever skill they want to learn. You know what we do? We ask them what they want. They tell us what they want. We pay for their training, their mentorship. While this, our sister, our partner in the world of transforming the lives of youth, takes care of those that are academically inclined, that need just motivation. I don't want to talk too much. Tomorrow is going to be a very good one as we bring it back to back. So expect the link for tomorrow, sometime in the morning or afternoon of tomorrow. We'll send out the link so that we can join in and actually ask this guy what propelled him to this, because on weekly basis he assesses over 30,000 youths on weekly basis, and that's massive. So from all of us at Set Rules, want to say thank you for your time. We appreciate everyone. Let's keep the conversation going. Please, if you are seeing this video, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. From here, we want to say bye bye, everyone. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Okay, bye.
I see you tomorrow at 10.